In this one we're going to deal with taking the rear bed off. Why would you want to do that? I've had mine off a couple of times to do some wiring. If you were going to check your valve clearances, you'd certainly want to get it out of the way. I've heard if you were going to swap out a motor, it comes in handy to take it off. That quick intro you just watched, that took me 2 minutes and 3 seconds to get the entire bed off, so it's not hard. I usually start with the fenders, and then the tail lights. You can do it either way, it doesn't really matter. So we'll get started. Alright, we're going to start out with removing the fenders. To get the fenders off, you have a plastic pin here, a plastic pin here, and then a screw here and a screw here. So to get these off, you'll just pull up the center pin of the rivet, and then the whole thing will just come out. Same thing with this one down here. Once we got those out, we'll get the two screws out from the bottom side. The screws on the bottom side are T20s, and for a point of reference, this is the back of the machine. So we'll take one out here, and the other one is right here. Once those are out, the fender is ready to come off. To actually pull the fender off, just pull it from the back, slide it out from the bed. There's a couple of tabs that mount and hook the fender into the plastic piece in front of it. So you just pull it out and then lift away, the fender will just come off. So then all we have to do is go do that to the other side, and we can move on to the tail lights. Okay, the tail light assembly has two different size screws. There's a T20 on either corner on the bottom, and there's some T30s that run across the top. I always pull these bottom ones off first. These screws are a little bit longer than the ones that come out of the fender, so just pay attention to that. So then we can switch over to a T30 bit and remove the top screws. Once we have all the screws out, you're going to have two electrical connections to the tail lights. So you'll just pull those off. There's a plastic tab on there you got to press to release it. And we can move on to removing the actual bed. Okay, now we're moving on to removing the bed. There are two screws underneath this spark plug service cover. They're right about here and right about here. I could not get that to film very well, so what I'm going to do is just put a picture up right here to show you where they're at. For me, it is easier to get to those screws from the sides underneath the bed than it is to take off this cover. They're T20s, but I'll tell you that I haven't had mine in since the first time I took the bed off, because they're just a pain in the ass to get to, and I haven't had any issues with them not being in there. So once you get those out, you'll have 4 screws across the top. These are T30s. Four screws in the bed, T30s. After all that is loose, you can just pick up the back of the bed and it'll slide right out from under the headrest covers. Now you've got access to whatever it is you need to do in here.